Hello, hello, and welcome to the channel of the Moon's Prophet. Today, I feel moved to share some insights and messages for the new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio season has put before us situations, conditions, and people that shed light on the areas of our lives in which our souls are calling us to be more honest. There are areas of your life in which your soul is calling you to be more honest, to arrive at deeper truths. The sun has been shining a spotlight on these areas since it entered the sign of Scorpio. Now, this can look many different ways. Perhaps there's a supportive friend that's been encouraging you to take steps, bold steps, in the directions of your dreams. You feel grateful for their support, and also, quite likely, if you're being honest with yourself, their encouragement brings to the surface, magnetizes to the surface, the voices and cells within you that are doubtful, fearful, that tell you your dreams are too big and too risky, that your dreams are impossible. So this friend's encouragement becomes a mirror through which you can glimpse your shadow selves, the parts within you that are neglected, that you do not consciously identify with, that are trapping up your life force energy and keeping you from your dreams. This is shadow work. Or perhaps you're dealing with a situation at the other end of the spectrum. Instead of a supportive friend, perhaps you're dealing with a loved one who exhibits toxic behaviors. Time after time, you have found yourself making space for the emotional immaturity they exhibit. Time after time, they engage in emotional manipulations and you make yourself small to accommodate it. Well, I'm here to tell you that their emotional immaturity is reflecting to you your emotional immaturity, because it is your emotional immaturity that allows them to be emotionally immature in the first place. Otherwise, you would not make space for it. You would not allow it. This can look many different ways, as I said, but whatever it is that Scorpio season has brought to the surface, that is where your soul is calling you to confront your shadows, to sit in ceremony with the fears and lack of belief, the abandoned and neglected parts within you. What's surfacing now wants to be acknowledged, integrated, and grown from. It is said that a superpower of Scorpio is that for the Scorpio, unlike for any other sign, the door between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind is faulty. It will not stay closed. It is for this reason that Scorpio is so closely associated with the shadows and the shadow selves. Other signs have an easier time repressing their wounds and traumas. Scorpios cannot help but eventually incarnate these things. They will in time be overtaken by these wounds and traumas. And it can be a little scary when it happens. It is for this reason that Scorpios are hyper identified with jealousy, with rage, with hypersexuality. These parts within all of us, they exist within all of us, yet they are parts that society tells us to repress, to lock away. Society tells us this is not okay. Well, Scorpio cannot repress these parts, not successfully. They will eventually come up. And this is the superpower of Scorpio, not the detriment. This is the superpower of Scorpio, because each time a wounded, neglected, or abandoned self comes to the surface, Scorpio has a fresh opportunity to heal that self, to integrate it, and to grow. Each rising shadow becomes a doorway to healing integration, and growth. And confronting and integrating shadows is the work of the shamanic path. Just as Scorpio is known as the home of the shadow, so too is Scorpio the home of the archetype of the shaman. From every descent into the underworld, we emerge with fresh powers and abilities. We think that it is what we are repressing that locks away our energy. That is why we repress it. But the truth is that it is repression and not the object of what repression that is fracturing, splintering, and suppressing our precious life force energy. I'm going to say that one more time. The truth is that it is repression itself and not the object of repression that is fracturing, splintering, and suppressing our precious life force energy. Repression binds the life force more than any wound ever could. When we stop banishing parts of ourselves to shadows, when we embrace that within us exists entire multiverses of selves, worlds of personalities and powers and archetypal forces, when we embrace the boundless multiplicity within us, we stop wasting our energy in denial and self-limitation. Welcoming the inner multiplicity frees the energy that fragmentation once fettered. Each new moon is a time of renewal, initiation, and new beginnings. Each new moon is a time for opening up to the boundless possibilities before us. All of life is ahead of us. Everything is possible. And this is particularly true for those who have just celebrated a solar return. That is because each new moon rises in the sign that the sun is in. So we can think of the new moon as representing a renewal of the heart for all those who have just celebrated another trip around the sun. And this new moon is particularly special because there at the end of Scorpio, in the 28th degree of Scorpio, where moon and sun find each other, there in the sky with them, we also find Mercury retrograde. As many of you know, Mercury has been retrograde since November 9th. It started retrograding back through Sagittarius November 9th, and now it joins moon and sun at the 28th degree of Scorpio. To my mind, this Mercury retrograde is happening precisely so that we can experience this new moon in Scorpio with the support of Mercury retrograde. This is a gift to us. So the presence of Mercury retrograde makes this new moon a throuple, if you will. And Mercury's presence gives this new moon a sharper, more deliberate tone. Mercury retrogrades invite us to carefully think back, revisit, reflect, revise. Once we do the scorpionic new moon work of sitting with our shadows, we will see that there are paths we took that we don't want to continue going down. We'll see that it's time to change our minds about something. In this season, reconsideration brings healing. Choosing again is medicine. So, since Scorpio season began, we have been on one underworld journey after another. And now, as Scorpio season ends, Mercury makes a special guest appearance to give us new eyes for seeing more clearly the beliefs, patterns, habits, and choices that want to be reconsidered and changed. If we courageously do this shadow work, with the help of Mercury's revisionary discernment, we will unlock genius that has been banished to the basements within us. See, if Mercury's special guest appearance weren't enough glitter already, this new moon has another guest appearance. Uranus retrograde. Uranus retrograde. It sits at the final degree of Taurus, 29 degrees Taurus, meaning that it sits in direct opposition with the new moon at 28 degrees Scorpio. The presence of Uranus retrograde on this new moon scene tells us that there is a brilliance that lives within the body that wants to be recovered right now. I'm talking about the kind of superpower that's kind of like the ability to tell from the tingling in your big toe when someone is lying to you. That's the kind of superpower I'm talking about. We all have these kinds of powers within us. It's a kind of extra dimensional sense that manifests at the level of the body, a wisdom. It's a form of magic and intuition that shows up on the physical plane. A power in the body that wants to be awakened right now, that is asleep, that's dormant, and that can be awakened if you engage in this underworld journey that the new moon is inviting all of us on. And if you engage with this underworld journey with that revisionary discernment that Mercury is asking us to bring. The last thing I feel called to note is that this new moon arrives on the final full day of Scorpio season. This means that with this new moon, we embark on an underworld journey that completes the larger underworld journeys that we have been on for the last 30 days. So this is a final lesson. It's a final opening. It's a final invitation to demonstrate what you have learned in the dark. Scorpio brings us into the underworld with honesty. Mercury brings the guidance to navigate the depth with clarity and revision. And from this union of shadow and light, Uranus awakens the genius that has been sleeping within the body. Powerful abilities are returning to you. May they gather strength. May they grow. Ashe. And so it will be. Thank you. Thank you. I send you all courage and fortitude as you embark on these underworld descents. And if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next time.